Hello, GovCon winners, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking all around relationships, relationships, and relationships. I'm going to give you tips on how to build strong relationships with federal government agencies. Get ready, y'all. Often with set-asides like the 8A, different GSA schedules, service disabled, woman-owned. The reason that small business owners are able to obtain contracts through these various set-asides is because of a relationship. So that's why this is vital. The federal government must know you, they must like you, they must trust you. So let's break that down. Number one, let's look at how do they get to know you. The federal government gets to know you through you responding to requests for information, sources sought, market research, solicitations, sam.gov. There's other options, understood, but at the end of the day, by responding to opportunities on sam.gov, that's how they begin to get to know you. You cannot form a relationship with a government agency because you think, oh, I'm a government contractor, I have all these set-asides, or I have all these things to offer. They should just give me work and I'm going to form a relationship with them. And that's how it's going to happen. No, it is not. It is no different than when you're approaching someone in a romantic setting or romantic intent or friend intent. You don't just say, we're going to get married. Yes, I hope not. Maybe you did and it worked out. You have like 8,000 kids and grandkids. I don't know, but you got to dial it back. This is an exercise on letting go of the ego and your focus on them. And their main issue is they need to find a vendor who is not going to have them on the cover of a magazine, newspaper, TMZ. Not going to happen. So they're looking to work with a vendor that they trust, a known entity. So responding to different opportunities. If you are new, meaning let's say you're under $1 million in revenue, you should be responding to 10 to 20 a month minimum, period. You should be doing that. Additionally, to be known, you should attend all different types of outreach events, small business events, networking events, matchmaking events, because that's how they also get to know you, meaning they get to know your name, your business name, what you do, maybe what you're interested in doing. They get to know a little bit about work that you've been a part of in the past. And if you're thinking, well, I don't really have past performance, then think about the performance you have as an employee. You can talk about that too. So outreach is vital for different government agencies to get to know you. Some have said, well, outreach has kind of changed with everything that's happened with the pandemic, so I don't really have those type of opportunities. Well, guess what? Many of them are, they have dual options. They may have a virtual option and an in-person option. There are other events that are virtual. There are a ton of virtual events, as well as one of my favorites, and that is what I call dialing for dollars, where you're picking up the phone and you're reaching out to agencies. And what's great about the federal government, the contact information for small business kind of officers or reps, contracting officers, different government points of contact are typically available online. Like acquisition.gov has a list. There are tons of lists out there. You can go even paid services like GovTribe, as well as GovWin have elaborate lists. So it's another option, because when you reach out on the phone, you're doing so to request a capability brief. That is the goal. Or if you're sending an email, because when you dial for dollars, you should call them as well as email them. You're asking to set up a capability brief. What that means, in case you're wondering, you are to provide information, typically in a PowerPoint, about your company, efforts you worked on, what differentiates you, and it's an expanded version of your capability brief, because you also want them to like you. right? You can do all the marketing that you want. You could take out ads, you could go to every event, you could be everywhere, right? But if they don't like you, then they're not going to want to work with you. So what's great about a capability brief is that's how they really get to like you, because during that, often they'll share some information, or maybe they're going to open up more about themselves. You know, we all have different personalities, so you'll find that something may work better than what it may work for me. I know I'm just like this. I'm pretty open, I'm pretty outgoing, and often people are very forthcoming with me. And so in capability briefs, people have been extremely forthcoming. Then there are those that are very kind of close off and take a more professional kind of approach. That works well too, but they still get to figure out if they like you, because when you're engaging with government employees, regardless of their level, if they're a senior executive or they're not a senior executive, they have to like you. And it makes it challenging to advocate for you if they don't like you, but it's not challenging. It's a huge success for you and for them when they like you, because then they're going to want others to see how amazing you are because they've known you. They're starting to like you. That means there's a little bit of trust there. And so they're more apt to recommend you, or maybe say, hey, we have this market research opportunity, or you might want to attend this event, or have you reached out to this company? And they have done that time and time and time again. Government agencies have given me other people's business cards. They have given me contact information for others that possibly want to team with. They provided background on what works, which approaches work best when trying to get work with their agency. And that's when people typically kind of like you, they'll do things like that. So that is definitely what you like and what you hope for, that they like you because I like you and you like you. So you're going to be liked. How do they trust you? Sometimes trust comes from your past performance. If you have elaborate past performance, you're a million up, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, you're going to immediately gain trust. No different than Amazon. You trust that you can order toothpaste, you can order a computer, you can order a chair, you can order dog food, you can order diapers, you could order ingredients to make a pizza, and you trust them. You trust and you know that regardless of what you order from Amazon, because remember, they also own Whole Foods, you're going to get it. Now, every now and again, there might be a mistake, but probably 90% of your Amazon purchases have been amazing. Now, hey, I can't speak for anyone that's had issues with the porch pirates or anything like that, right? But overall, you trust them. And that's what you want the government to do when it comes to you. You want them to trust you, to see that, oh, wow, you've worked in these other areas. So if you pivot, your whole body of work has maybe been construction. Now you decided to pivot into staffing, or pivot into training, or pivot into medical devices. It doesn't seem so far-fetched because you have this body here of all of your past performance. And that is why when you really start to look at things, so many government contracting businesses, whether they're small or not small, because you're either small or you're not small, they provide a plethora of services. They may offer IT, emergency management services. They may also offer training. They may even also offer admin services. And the reason for it is because very similar to Amazon. When they trust you, they trust you. I had an agency ask my flagship company for a warehouse position. I'd never staffed warehouse. I'd worked in like a factory before, and we have this amazing three-prong approach that we take for staffing. So it made sense because they trusted us, and we knew we could do it. And so we did so, and we were extremely successful. So you want them to know you, you want them to like you, you want them to trust you. The other way for them to trust you is by partnering. It could be you partnering with a firm that they have experience with, or a firm who's kind of integrated in that agency. You also obtain trust if you form a mentor protege and you create a joint venture, because that joint venture takes on the past performance of both entities and becomes its own new thing. So it's like all these Transformers coming together to create some new mega transformer. That is another way. It's like a fast track to obtain that trust with the federal government. Also keep in mind, it can take a little bit of time. Government employees, just like everyone else, may go and find magic elsewhere. Or perhaps they don't really have the influence you hoped that they had. Or perhaps they were there and they know you, they like you, they trust you, and perhaps that was just good enough for one opportunity. So when you're taking this approach, you need to have several targets. Many suggest, oh, you should focus in on 3 agencies. I say BS. You focus on as many agencies as you want, because the thing about the federal government is there's always going to be funding, right? There's well over $600 billion in funding right now for different government opportunities for contractors. But as far as which agency gets what and what's going on with budgets, what's nice is the more diversity you have, the better for you as an entrepreneur. It's a great approach. And then for those of you just starting out, you don't have to limit yourself to one agency either. It's okay to reach out to several, because you never know who's really going to just take to you and say, oh man, this is awesome. You offer such great cybersecurity services. We would love to have you. You know, there's this opportunity coming out with NASA, for instance, please take a look. So by doing this, you will end up being known. They will like you and they will trust you. If you're someone, you're not likable, or you're not big on dialing for dollars, then perhaps you have someone else represent your firm. And I mean this, and I come from a place of love by saying this, because what's super important as an entrepreneur, self-awareness, definitely self-awareness. And so there are firms where they have a business development person and they're the one doing all this. And the owner is over here doing owner things. So keep that in mind. Let me know how it goes for you. Comment below. Make sure you hit that notification button. Make sure you subscribe and check out profitablecontracts.co. Make sure you do that, as well as don't forget, before I get to that, the GovCon Winners Ultimate Edge pre-orders will begin soon. And don't forget, everything is possible.